Hello there, welcome again to Ordinary Guys Bourbon. This is our season finale from season 1. It's been a little bit delayed, but I think we've got all the kinks ironed out, and the special guest with us today, a two-time Ordinary Guys Bourbon panelist, Vincent Falzetta. How you doing, Vince?
Good.
So we were originally targeting to have this recorded on I think last week or maybe a week and a half ago. And as sometimes happens, life gets in the way, right? And we wanted to make sure the product that we presented was fitting for Ordinary Guys Bourbon and for the season finale. So I think today we've got everything ready, and we've got our 8 finalist bourbons. And here's how we're gonna do this. We've got our score sheets in front of us, right? It's head to head. We're gonna do a seeding. So Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel, that's the highest seed from season 1. And then the surprise guest was Woodford Reserve in honor of the Kentucky Derby, right? So we'll sample these 2 bourbons, and we'll talk about them. We'll make our decision on which one goes on to the next round. And then we'll go, I think the next tasting we'll have is Green River, which was the number 2 bourbon. That's over here, right? That will go against Jefferson Reserve Twin Oak over here, and so on and so forth until we have a champion.
All right.
Fair enough?
Sounds good.
So let's just get after it. Let's start. We've got a whole bunch of sampling
Okay.
done here.
All right.
So the first one, Elijah Craig, Toasted Barrel. This was reviewed in episode 4. Greg Stevens was the guest then, and Greg gave it, I think, a perfect score for taste and drinkability.
Wow.
But maybe there are a few samples before that. Who knows? So cheers to you, Vince. And that's going head to head with the Woodford Reserve. And there's nothing special about this Woodford Reserve other than the art on the bottle. But it's the same liquid you'd normally buy in a traditional Woodford Reserve. That's a close one. That's a close one.
I think I'm set.
Yeah. And you think about what we're doing here, and the scoring system is what it is. It's been some controversy with our now 111 subscribers, but I think for what we're doing here, as far as the head-to-head competition, I think this is a fair way to crown a champion. It's not going to be easy, but that's why it's important you're on the program. So, what do you think, Vince?
Well, I don't want to skew you one way or the other, but I think the Elijah Craig edges out Woodford.
Yeah, that's good. I'm going to go with Woodford on this one.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but that's okay. We've got a long day, and I think as I was thinking about this, the best way maybe for us to figure out, let's say our scores differ and we have different champions, then we'll do a single round head-to-head, my champion versus your champion, okay, and see if we can come to a conclusion. And if we're still split, we'll just do it again. And if we're still split,
It probably won't matter.
we'll just do it again, and we'll see how many times it takes us to get to a consensus. So that was the first round. You've got Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel, and I've got Woodford Reserve. And we're on to round 2. So round 2, Vince, has Green River Bourbon, second seed. The score from the season was 82.5. This is from episode 15 with Pete Neal. And that's going against Jefferson's Reserve Twin Oak, which has a 73.5. It's the 7 seed, episode 11 with Joe Thomas. So first is Green River. That's this one here. Cheers to you. Against the Jefferson's Reserve Twin Oak. Man, this one for me is simple.
Me too.
What's your verdict?
Jefferson Reserve.
Yeah, me too. So, Vince,
Jefferson was 7th seeded.
That's right. Green River, I wasn't a fan of Green River before, and I don't know how it got scored so high. I think Pete maybe was a little bit too generous with his scoring, but it is a cool bottle, right?
What do you think about the whole Jefferson shaking on the ocean?
So it seems like the whole name Jefferson's, if I remember correctly, when I was doing the research for that, like the guy just like wanted to pick a name that was recognizable. It's a newer product, and he figured Jefferson.
But is it a gimmick with the barrels being in a boat?
I think so. I mean, so that's Jefferson's Ocean, right? And the whole thing is they've got different things where they've got a tropical variant where I think they expose things somewhere, as the name suggests, in the tropics. This one has like a special design of the inside of the barrel to get more surface area. And if you think about it, I mean, if bourbon is flavored by its interaction with the wood, right? Then having more surface area is going to give you a quicker interaction, quicker flavor. So I kind of like the science behind it. I like the bottle, but it is kind of a gimmicky thing. But either way, I've got Jefferson's. You've got Jefferson's in this round.
Okay. So we have the same on that one.
Yeah. We can move on to the third round if you want.
Let's do it.
Round 3. We're just moving through these real quick. Round 3 has Baker's 7-year. The score of the season was 80. This is from episode 10 with Julie Thomas, and it's going against a 77 score, the 6th seed, Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond. Score was a 77 from episode 8 with Siddhartha as Kona.
I would trust Sid's judgment on tequila more so than bourbon.
That's fair.
No offense, Sid.
I think he really enjoyed this, and I think he's gone out and bought a bottle or two of this afterwards, right? And kind of opened up his eyes because tequila tastes like garbage. except for, have you ever had Cristalino tequila?
No.
So, they've got the Añejo, the Reposado, and whatever else the other one is. But Cristalino is, like if you buy a good vodka that's been distilled and been purified like 7 times or whatever, I think Cristalino has been over-processed, so it's crystal clear, despite it being aged. And it's actually pretty tasty. We'll have some Cristalino with Sid. Next season, there's going to be, for 2 episodes, bourbon-adjacent samples. I think we're going to have a scotch that's been finished in bourbon barrels, and we're going to have a cognac finished in bourbon barrels.
I'm a fan of scotch.
Yeah?
I like scotch.
Okay. So this first one is Baker's 7-year. Cheers to you. Jim Beam product. This is a close one. I think this one and the next one that we're gonna have is probably the closest in the first round. So, but Baker's is, this is a little bit more heat to it, right? This is at 107 proof, and Bottled and Bond is at 100 proof. So,
I think I like Baker's.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same spot. Yeah. Baker's works for me. So this last one of the first round is probably my 2 of my 3 everyday drinkers, right? Jim Beam Black being the third, right? We've got Buffalo Trace in the 4th spot. Buffalo Trace scored a 78 with Pat Cannon. Buffalo Trace is also the only bottle that I had to buy a replenishment of before we had this this little.
That says something.
Because I think when we did the Buffalo Trace sample, Pat had come to my parents' house. We were on the road in Novi, And my dad was there, Julie, Joe, right? And I think there was a hefty amount of sampling for the channel.
You introduced me to Buffalo Trace many years ago.
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite.
And they had some kind of flood recently, but who cares? So Buffalo Trace and Old Tub. And Old Tub is I love the name. That's the original name of Jim Beam. So we got Buffalo Trace. Just standard.
Yeah, it's hard
Just
to
standard.
beat. Hard to beat. I haven't had the Old Tub as much.
Because it's called Old Tub, and it kind of makes you think it's making.
No, I lived in California for a few years, and I could get a fifth of Buffalo Trace for $20 at Sandwich Club.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to beat that. You already had the tub?
I had a both one. Yeah. So Old Tub, I didn't mention this. Old Tub was 77.5. So 0.5 is the difference in the scores. Old Tub was from episode 8 with Ken Pluff. Yeah, this one's a close one. This one's a close one. Now Old Tub is at 100 proof, right? Bottled and bond, whereas Buffalo Trace is at 90.
Keep that in mind.
It's all called Old Tub. By the way, at the end of this, whatever the highest the champion is, goes off in a surprise challenge by Frank August.
I'm really having a hard time picking which one I like better.
Yeah, as am I. But I've got a decision in my mind.
The one I'm going to pick is I like how Buffalo Trace lingers on my palate after. I know it's Ordinary Guys Bourbon, but
Yeah.
I like the aftertaste of it.
Yeah.
I think more so.
Yeah, I'll edit out the lingers on my palate.
Okay.
I'll edit
Yeah,
that.
get rid of that.
No, I'm with you, and I'll tell you what, it's hard for me because Old Tub is probably one of my favorites because a lot of people they know Buffalo Trace, so you want to be a little bit different. And hey, I brought a bottle of Old Tub. Old Tub sounds like it's and I think
I think that was my favorite round.
that was the first round in totality.
That 4 versus 5.
Yeah, so I've got Woodford Reserve, Buffalo Trace, Baker's, and Jefferson Reserve.
All right, so we have the same except I had Elijah Craig.
Okay. So that's round 1, and you know what? I think maybe because it makes it easier for us for pouring. Maybe we start with round 2. We'll go Baker's versus Jefferson Reserve and see where that goes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're in the second round now, and we're gonna start off with Baker's against Jefferson's Reserve, right? Number 3 seed advancing against number 7 seed. But before we do that, we didn't have really a chance. The last week has really been crazy good for both of us, and I was worried that today might not happen as well. There's a double header of WNBA games on right now.
Wow.
Do you have your VCR set?
I do.
Did you VHS or Beta?
I'm a Beta guy.
Betamax? Yeah, that's good. That's good. But there's been a lot of stuff. Have you been following Tigers?
I know they're the best team in MLB right now.
Yeah, they got 30 wins.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. That Javier Baez, he's doing phenomenal. He had 2 3-run homers a couple days ago, including a walk-off 3-run homer.
I need to start watching them more.
Good luck. There's a game on today, and I tried to turn it on, and it was like I've got ESPN, I've got YouTube TV. I was trying to find it, and it's like, no, it's only available on Fox Sports, whatever they call it, so it's not Bally's Sportsnet or whatever, or Major League Baseball Network. So another subscription service I have to have. To be
I'm not sure how old you were, but I was a big baseball fan when I was a kid, and I got to see the 1984 When?
I would have been 6 years old then. Yeah. I do remember in our house in Dearborn Heights, I think there was a fort that my brother and I had made in the breezeway room. Like the room between the house and the garage was made into a TV room, and like if it was the winter, you couldn't go in there. If it was the summer, they had windows that had louvers on the windows, right? But then we had made a fort during the postseason, and we had drawn some pictures and hung them in the window of the '84 Tigers.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's all I remember. But you were who were you a big fan of? Alan Trammell?
I loved Alan Trammell.
Chet Lemon?
Lou Whitaker.
Oh, sweet baby Lou.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably those two guys.
Yeah. If you had a Tigers jersey now, have you thought about? Do you have a Tigers jersey?
I have like a quarter zip, like warm up Tigers.
But as far as I have an authentic jersey,
I don't have a jersey right now. No.
If you were to go get a jersey now, would you get like a current player, like a Scooble?
I'd probably go to like 1984, I think.
You'd go to a Trammell or with Lou Whitaker?
I think so.
Yeah. Darrell Evans, maybe?
Darrell Evans.
Yeah. He was
Jack Morris, too. He was.
Jack Morris.
Yeah.
Right. Did Guillermo Hernandez, was he a pitcher for that team?
Yeah.
Willie Hernandez?
Billy Hernandez.
Yeah.
Senor Smoke.
Yeah. So anyways, so we got Bakers and Jefferson Reserve. Round 2.
All right.
Here we start. I think I know where this is going.
I picked Bakers.
I picked Bakers. So round the second heat of round 2, different on mine versus yours. I've got Woodford versus Buffalo Trace, and you've got Elijah Craig versus Buffalo Trace. Any thoughts before we get into this sample?
No, I was just looking at who was on what season where they got such a high score, and I was trying to see who would I trust to buy me a bourbon in the future. Pat Cannon, he's one guy I would probably trust.
I think Pat knows his way around the liquor store. Good guy, good man. So the story of Pat Cannon, he's my sister's husband's best friend, right? And my sister's husband has like 4 or 5 like really like as if they were in like grade school. Who's my best friend? He's got like 5, right? And Pat's one of them. And Pat's a great guy. I met Pat, and I said this on the episode that he was on. I met him at Joe, my brother-in-law, had a bachelor party, and he's a big golfer, right? So we were out at like some like up north golf resort kind of thing, and I was working, so I was late getting there, and they had taken the day off, right? And I think they were on like hole, call it hole 10, whatever. And I called Joe as I'm like rounding the corner, and he's like, "Yeah, we're out at hole 10. Just grab a cart, meet us out here." And I rounded the corner to where they were, and as I rounded the corner, I see 2 or 3 of Joe's friends in like a lake, trying to remove their golf cart from the lake, right?
It was a good time.
And I don't know if distracted driving or alcohol had anything to do with it, but so that was, I mean, that pretty much, that initial, hey, here's this crew, it held true the whole time. And every time I've seen these guys, they've been as genuine and sincere as you can imagine. And Pat's a big video game player, big IT kind of guy, right? And he had, I think, the longest episode of Ordinary Guys Bourbon. It was like 28 minutes long, and we talked about, I mean, everything from that golf story to a lot of video game discussions, right? I still disagree. He likes Super Mario 2, which is terrible. But I mean, I think I'd take his word. I think he fits the bill for an ordinary guy. He's a good guy. So this is round 2, and you've got Greg Stevens still. I had the upset, right? Woodford took over Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel for me, right? You got Elijah Craig still
So
continuing on.
Greg's still in it.
So here's what are you doing first? You're doing your Elijah Craig?
Yep.
Okay.
Here's to you, Greg.
Cheers, Jim. I can see things getting dicey after this round. Yeah. And then Buffalo Trace, we both have. You know, I thought this was going to be Woodford Reserve for me. And then I had the Buffalo Trace, which I've had probably 100 bottles of Buffalo Trace. And I gotta go back for more, I think. Where are you leading?
You must not have had this Elijah Craig toasted barrel in the past. It's pretty good.
Do you like it?
I do like it.
Greg gave it the perfect score for taste and drinkability.
I don't think it's perfect.
Perfect.
I think it's
40 out of 40.
I think it's
Yeah.
pretty solid.
I think when we recorded that episode, we had Barrel House Select, which was a bourbon we bought at Party Source. You could only buy it in Kentucky. And we had sampled that, and then we did the Elijah Craig. And I think it was, I don't know, maybe like the family was all coming over, so there was a little bit of libations involved beforehand.
It's a tough one for me.
It's getting more difficult. I made my decision.
You're going with Buffalo Trace.
I am. It was tight. For me, one of the first bourbons I ever had. So I was not a bourbon drinker, and I was down working in Kentucky at a Denso factory, and they were about to do I think it was a recall for fuel pumps, and the people at Denso were phenomenal. I mean, just phenomenal to work with, great people. And after we were done, the mission was successful, right? Of trying to build up enough so they could announce the recall and whatever else. The general manager, vice president of that facility, we went out and he said, "Hey, you got to try some bourbon." And I said, "Okay, let's do it." And the first bourbon he had was Eagle Rare. So if you think about like if you're hanging out with people that are Kentuckians, and the first bottle they drink is Eagle Rare, and then the second bottle he pulled out was Woodford Reserve, right? That's what they drink because that's what they like. And that was the first distillery I went to, Woodford Reserve. It's a beautiful distillery, but Buffalo Trace I think edges out this time. What do you got?
You're gonna be surprised.
Elijah Craig going into the finals for you. So set up, you've got Elijah Craig against Bakers for the season 1 championship on your card.
And just so you know, it wasn't easy for me to pick that because I like Buffalo Trace so much.
Mm-hmm.
Just barely edged it out.
So Elijah Craig versus Bakers, and I've got Buffalo Trace versus Bakers. I think this is looking good. So we're about to enter the final round. So we are in the finals, Vince. Finals for you, Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel. Original score 83.5. Number 1 seed against your number 3 seed, Bakers, right? I'm going with the number 4 seed, a little bit of a sleeper, Buffalo Trace, against the Bakers for my final. You know, a couple days ago, we were walking out of the plant, and I slapped on the shoulder a little bit, right? You're a solid guy, dude. So let me ask you, before we get into this final round, right? I know you go to the gym. I know you do a lot of lifting. I know your son is big into powerlifting, or he was at one time, right? I know he's got a lot of athleticism to him, right? It is like if I wanted to lose some lbs, should I be doing weight training? Should I be doing just walking?
I'm the wrong guy to ask for that.
Come on, man.
But it's just lighter weights, more reps.
But I always, like, that's what I thought as well, like, put some more cardio in there. But people say, oh no, you gotta do weight training. You gotta do weight training. That's
just do more reps and lighter weight.
Yeah.
I don't like to do that.
That seems like it takes more time.
I like to do more weight and less reps.
Seems like it takes more time.
It does.
Does this count as a rep?
Tina doesn't count, right?
No, nor does Laura. So okay, here we go. Final round. Elijah Craig versus Baker's. I've got the Buffalo Trace here.
It's solid.
You know, I think my sister and I have had a long going competition, and she was on the show for Baker's, and she wanted to snap a lot of comments about how she was right. Oh, she was right and I was wrong. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, should that skew my score?
No.
I don't think it should. I don't think it will.
Try to be objective.
I think, if nothing else, an ordinary guy.
So, Greg Stevens, Elijah Craig, Toasted Barrel is my choice.
That's your winner. I can't decide.
I have to go get a bottle of this.
I don't think any of the bourbons we've had today were bad. Do you think any of them were bad?
I don't think any of them are bad. I would say my least favorite was probably this one.
Yeah, I agree with that. The number 2 seed. I don't know how I got that. It's the Oregon Ducks of the lineup.
Yeah, I think that one. That was really the only one. I think all the others are pretty solid.
My champion was Buffalo Trace.
Okay.
And so here's a little conundrum we've got.
So we do this.
That's right. That's right. We do a 1 round, maybe 2 rounds, maybe 3 rounds. Look, I misspelled Elijah right there. So
Yeah, I noticed that.
Did you? No.
I had to put my glasses on to see it though.
I'll make it smaller in the future. So we got the runoff here.
Eli Ha.
Buffalo Trace. Now, Buffalo Trace for me was this sample here. So we'll keep this live. Let's get rid of this one. And I'm going to go ahead and refill. This was Elijah, I think. Toasted Barrel. It's a delicious sample.
You're saying some bourbon folks don't like the Toasted Barrel?
I've heard that, but you know, everyone has different flavor. I mean, what is it they don't like about it? You know?
Maybe they just picked a position.
And the stories behind all those, I mean, you can go back and I encourage everyone to watch all the previous episodes. But you can go back and hear the history of each one of these samples. Elijah Craig obviously has probably the most history as far as the liquid's concerned. Probably second most heritage in the liquid would be Old Tub. Baker's is certainly up there. Woodford would be up there. And the newest bourbons, Green River being a newer bourbon, Jefferson's obviously being a newer bourbon. But, you know, all these companies, maybe not Green River so much, but all these companies have been, well, or Jefferson, but certainly have a lot of lineage to them, right? There's certainly each one of these in the top 8 here, or 7, not including Woodford, certainly earned their spot.
I'm surprised on the date on a couple of those bottles. We still had it.
Yeah, well, you know, starting a YouTube channel is not easy, right? And especially when you have a jobby job to do, right? So I do think it's cool that Elijah Craig was from. In fact, that's what it was. It was like, I think we were over there for a Lions game. Yeah, no, I bought the bottle. I bought it for sample.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, but that I took the trip up there for him to sample that and the other one as well.
Oh, gotcha.
So, but we tried to put the dates on all of it. This was from 2024 is when we actually, the first time we recorded that.
Oh, gotcha.
Right.
That's the,
And then that first recording was no good, so we had to re-record it
okay.
for the first 2 samples, as we're trying to figure out this YouTube thing. So Sid's is February 22nd of, what's up the dates on here too?
Can you get this on DVD-R also?
What's that?
DVD-Rs? Are you selling those?
No, I do have like a bubble package, like you'd buy a Walt Disney video, like when it's released, like Belle, what's that? Beauty and the Beast. It comes in like a plastic case that opens up and there's a VCR tape. I do sell the episodes like that. So here we go. This is the runoff. Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel. That's on your left. Versus Buffalo Trace on your right. Yeah. I don't want to skew you, but I've made my decision.
I think it's better.
So the season 1 champion is Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel. A little bit of surpriser, right? To me, it was the number 1 seed going in.
How much is this bottle?
I think it's like 45 bucks, something like that. I might be completely wrong.
Bad.
But
Nice looking bottle, good heritage.
But if you want to know the exact price, you can go back and pull up episode 4 and watch the full review. So that concludes season 1. I'll tell you what, season 2, we've already got some things in the works. Like I mentioned earlier, we've got some bourbon adjacent samples, right? We've got some new guests. Right? We're going to try to have, we will have some repeat guests, but we're going to try to have new guests. I think there's a guy named Vito who you might know of. This guy, he'll be on a sampling for Traveler's Whiskey, which is a Buffalo Trace product, I think. We've got Angelo Falone. He's queued up.
Who makes Benchmark?
That's like the
Bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. We've got an episode with Scott Rice. We're going to start off season 2 with Scotty D. Rice. That's going to be exciting. So a lot of exciting things. We're going to try to take some of the feedback we received. I mean, obviously, there's a lot to learn in this YouTube journey. We've enjoyed having the smooth jazz background for season 1. We're going to change that up for season 2, right? I'm not going to tell you what it's going to be yet, but it's going to be exciting. We're going to try to make things better, and I think we're going to continue to grow this channel because I think we add value to people that are interested in learning about bourbon. What do you think?
I'm not sure about that, but sounds good.
Are you just trying to cut this short for the WNBA? Because I see like the TV's back there. You've got the remote in your lap. Right?
I don't think I've ever watched.
Really? Caitlyn Jenner, Caitlin Clark, isn't she a player?
I've never watched it. I'm sorry.
Well, we've really enjoyed you guys tuning in for season 1, and stay tuned for season 2. It's coming right around the corner. I think the first release is later on this month. Until then, from Ordinary Guys Bourbon and my special guest Vince Falzetta. Thanks.
Thanks.